I don't need to introduce myself to many of the familiar faces, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Valerie Sayers in the English department, and I teach fiction writing for our magnificent creative writing program. It was a great pleasure to serve as Emily Grecki's thesis director when she was at Notre Dame, and it's an even greater pleasure to introduce her tonight as our honored guest, the 2014 winner of the Nicholas Sparks Prize, a writing fellowship that grants her a year's time to write. I wasn't in the least surprised that she walked away with the jackpot. But I will admit that just about everything else about Emily Grecki has surprised me. First, she's perfectly nice, you'll see, generous, mild, kind, loyal to friends, quick to laugh, not inclined to call attention to herself. These are not qualities I necessarily associate with a writer. They are certainly not qualities I associate with a devious writer who likes to set off landmines in fields of clover, or, as one of her stories was called, grenades from angels. From the first page of the first Grecki story I read, I had the wrong set of expectations. That story, called The Millstein Hall of Ocean Life, opens with social and sexual awkwardness among young adult humans. I thought Emily was writing deft satire about the dating zeitgeist, complete with realistic details. By the end, I realized she was really interested in probing the surrealistic possibilities suggested by our oceanic compadres on this planet. Emily's stories have titles like Mass Hysteria. That one, which was Notre Dame's nomination for the AWP Intro Journals Prize, takes place mostly in a high school, where I confess I generally dread going. But Emily's version of the high school story is not only hysterical, but also flits about that narrative zone where all her fiction likes to hide. A zone where realism slips into irrealism, scene becomes concept, and satire morphs into sympathy without a reader realizing quite when or how everything changed. The lovely and evidently mild-mannered writer you're about to hear likes, in fact, to slip a Mickey Finn into your drink, to hide a few extra aces in the deck, to mess with your mind, your conception of what narrative can and should do. She sees the world askew. All appearances to the contrary, she's a sly and subtle trickster, and if her dry wit catches you off guard and slips you up, you may find yourself most surprised by how she rescues you. Please welcome Emily Grecki.